welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from Manisa, but Desawe Kanda also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. I am Alfred Ocansey. This evening, Supreme Court dismisses application to compel the Electoral Commission to continuously register Ghanaians who turn 18 years and are eligible to vote. We'll tell you more shortly. Also, government justifies the appointment of Samuel Adumboche as Registrar of Births and Deaths, saying President Mahama acted in line with the law, but Clocksack says it will proceed with its intended strike in protest against that particular appointment. Stay with us. We've got details for you. Plus, former Dom Cabinet Member of Parliament Sarah Joasafo has been speaking, indicating that the school feeding program was plagued by rot, mismanagement, and corruption. Stay with us because we've got some reactions as well for you and some more details from the persons who have some knowledge about the workings of the school feeding program. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. On the latest with the police charges on Ahmed Swale, the suspect lawyer is saying that the police's charges are shambolic, lacks evidence. We've got details of that for you. Also, the Inspector General of Police overhauls police leadership, names new command heads. We've got details for you on that one here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We go straight to Parliament, also where Alexander Penyomarking, the minority leader, accuses government and Kofredia High Court of harassing Akwatia, Member of Parliament. We've got details of this plus the latest in business and sports over the next 1 hour 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's settle for a summary of the news now. Safa Bohin here.
Thank you, Alfred, and welcome to the news summary segment. Let's settle for the details now into first story. The Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofiboa, has announced the revocation of all small-scale mining licenses issued after December 7, 2024. Speaking at a joint press briefing, he explained that these licenses were granted without due process, making their cancellation necessary. The move is part of efforts to enforce proper regulations in the mining sector. And away from that, the Ministry of Labour, Jobs and Employment, in collaboration with the Youth Employment Agency, has launched a work abroad program to provide job opportunities for Ghanaians in Europe and other diaspora countries. As part of the initiative, the first batch of participants will be sent to Romania for full employment. The program aims to enhance job prospects for Ghanaians seeking opportunities abroad. And also, away from that, majority leader and MP for Boko Central, Mahama Yariga, has condemned the actions of the military in Boko following the death of a soldier on Monday. Speaking in Parliament, he expressed concern over reports of innocent civilians being assaulted and called on the military to end the brutalities. He urged authorities to ensure the protection of innocent residents. Also bringing you some more stories. Ghana's legal system is under scrutiny after a U.S. court awarded investigative journalist Anas Arimiyao Anas $18 million in damages over defamatory comments made by former Ascent Central MP Kennedy Japan. The two have been in legal battle since 2018, with Anas losing his case in Ghana after a judge dismissed his claims and labeled him a criminal. However, after nearly 4 years, a U.S. jury ruled in Anas's favor, ordering Japan to pay the damages. And to our last story now, Daniel Cranton, also known as Nana Amache, has denied allegations that he sold photographs of investigative journalist Ahmed Swale to former MP Kennedy Japan before Swale's 2019 murder. The 35-year-old businessman has been remanded by the Medina District Court after being provisionally charged with murder. Prosecutors argue that call records place Cranton near Swale's residence at the time of the murder and claim Swale had previously identified him as the source of the leaked images aired on Netu TV. And this brings us to the end of the news summary segment. And over to you, Alfred.
Appreciate you, Safa Bahin. Thank you so much. This morning is on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Hot Edition. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in YMB. Let's get into the stories now. The Supreme Court has dismissed an application to compel the Electoral Commission to continuously register Ghanaians who turn 18 years and are eligible to vote. The plaintiff, private legal practitioner Noah Adamte, petitioned the Apex Court praying it to declare as unconstitutional the failure of the electoral body to register prospective voters. Let's take a listen to Noah Damte after the court ruling earlier today.
Day unilaterally set. So if the EC sets a date on, let's say, 24th May, someone who turns 18 on 25th May will not get a chance to vote in the December elections. And I think where we have reached as a society, we need to go beyond that, because in the past they could have used administrative or logistical constraints as their basis. But now there is technology. We have the Ghana card, the NIE has a database of all Ghanaians and then their ages. So the EC could just work with NIE to get a database of people who turn 18 on any given day and then go to the required processes to issue their voter registration cards to them. So we brought this case before the Supreme Court. Today, the Supreme Court granted this judgment. According to the court, its jurisdiction was properly invoked, but the court said that it did not have the jurisdiction to grant the request that we were seeking for, which is the main request that it should order the EC to register people who turn 18 before the election, so the EC cannot use its own predetermined dates to determine who can vote or who cannot vote. So that was the challenge. But the court said that its judgments will officially be ready next week. So we hope to see the reasoning that went into the judgment, and hopefully we'll take the next steps from that to see what we can do to get, in my view, maybe the court to change its mind and then agree with us. Because there are so many young people who will be disenfranchised for every election if this issue is.
We're going to keep an eye on how things are playing out at the Supreme Court on this matter. But you're also live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. As I indicated to you, a 35-year-old businessman, Daniel Owusu Kranting, remanded into police custody by the Medina District Court after being charged in connection with the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Swale. We'll touch base with Parliament, because the minority leader, Alexander Apenyomarkin, is also accusing government and the Koforidua High Court of conniving to harass Member of Parliament for the Akwatia constituency. NSL Kome. We've got the reactions and details for you shortly. But Daniel Kranting, also known as Nana Amache, has denied allegations that he sold photographs of investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swale to Member of Parliament Kennedy Ejapong before Swale's murder in 2019. Kranting, a 35-year-old businessman, has been remanded in custody by the Medina District Court after being provisionally charged with murder. Prosecutors argue that call records placed Kranting near Swale's residence in Medina at the time of the murder. They also claim that Swale himself had previously identified Kranting as the person responsible for the supplying of images that were later aired on Net2 TV, where Kennedy Japan called for retribution against the journalist. According to the prosecution, while Kranting admitted knowing Ahmed Swale, visiting Kennedy Japan and taking photos with Swale, he denied selling any photographs to anyone. The prosecution further alleges that Kranting fled to the United Kingdom in 2019 after declining multiple police invitations. He later returned to Ghana and was arrested in Amasaman on March 15, 2025, following intelligence reports. Here's counsel for the suspect, Kofi Esel, speaking to journalists after the court hearing earlier today.
Yes, what transpired is that the police hurriedly put a charge sheet together. A charge sheet on an offense of murder. First, we were talking about abatement. Today, we were sprung up with a surprise charge sheet with one count of murder. And they prayed the court to remand our client with no basis.
You describe it as symbolic charge.
Symbolic charge sheet. I said so in court. Because we have nothing on our client. It's just a multitude of suspicions and allegations and hearsays that have been put together. And the law never personalized any evidence. It is just for someone's career to shoot up. And someone has to go down. And that's what they are doing. It's just mere witch hunting. And we'll deal with it in the law courts. We are not media men, we are not journalists. We'll deal with it in the law courts. Yes. So they couldn't, it's not even at the committal stage. They're just going to can any Ghanaian be put in police custody And you are a journalist. So the investigation is being perpetuity. We started this investigation in 2019. We invited our clients. We said we will come. And we missed out on one day. We come arresting him. We want a remand. I wouldn't want to say more. We don't want to go into details on it. Yes.
You are coming back on 1st of April.
So we'll be here.
What do you expect to happen on the 1st of April when you get
The police said they would amend their charge sheet. As I said, it's shambolic. It doesn't hold any water. So we'll see what they come back with. And we'll see what the business of the day will be.
How is your client coping?
He's a strong person. They can't break him. He will survive.
And
just pray that nobody will just go beyond what the law allows whilst he's in custody. Otherwise, we take everybody on. Any person involved.
So he's remanded where exactly?
Oh, for security reasons, we can't.
But he's in police custody or?
I can't as well say that.
Okay, because the judge also didn't say just he's been remanded.
It's just for his safety.
Okay.
You know, his line of business is undercover investigative journalism. So that's it. So we want to leave it at that.
So you were shocked with the charge sheet, right? As presented by the prosecution. Because you described it as shambolic. Yeah.
I've said it and retweeted it in this interview. So, I mean, it goes without saying for such a charge sheet to be used in a matter of an indictment.
And I saw the judge was equally surprised.
She was taken aback and she also pronounced, made a comment on it. She commented on it, but still had to do the remand. I don't know. But really, it's at the discretion of the judge. I don't want to go into details. So,
okay, thank you.
So hearing that interaction between the counsel for the suspect, Kofi Esel, speaking to journalists after the court hearing earlier today, and let's go on to the telephone now and find out how the late Ahmed Swale's family is taking all of this, especially because of how things are playing out in court. And Mustafa Idris is the family spokesperson for the late colleague journalist, investigative journalist Ahmed Swale, joining us on the telephone now. And Mustafa Idris, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me.
I presume you are in court today, correct?
No, actually, I was at work, so I didn't go to the court, but some members of the family were there.
How is the family taking the new turn of events with a suspect being arrested after years of investigation, and just a few days ago we're having a suspect and the court processes beginning?
Yeah, as a family, definitely we need to be elated. We need to be happy about what actually is happening. Because one thing I remember is that on the day that Swale was murdered, and then the next morning when we went to bury him, the Imam on the day, I was given the interpretation of whatever the Imam was saying from Hausa to English language. One thing I remember that the Imam said was that whoever has a hand in the death of Swale, inshallah, one day, the person will be arrested. So we kept on praying that one day we would have a suspect. And inshallah, when we heard the news that a suspect has been arrested, we got so happy. And we also heard this morning that they were going to court, and we're happy that the court proceedings have started. So the family is happy.
Now, and also hearing as well the turn of events today in court. You just heard the lawyer for the accused person. Let me first establish this. Did Ahmed Swale at any point mention the name of this accused person to you, any of his family members? This Daniel Kranting, also known as Nanamachi?
So long as the matter is in court and the court is dealing with that, we will not want to talk about this on air. Maybe prosecutors would have much more information that the family is giving out to them, but the family will not in any way say certain things that are prejudicial. to the media so that people would have it that, oh, this was what Swale had said, this was what Swale had said, and it's coming from the family. We're not going to do that. We are just going to leave this thing between the prosecutors and the court and then the suspect. So we'll leave it at that.
During this long wait until 2 days ago when the suspect was announced to have been arrested, how was the family dealing with the seeming silence on exactly what was going on with the investigations on who exactly murdered Ahmed Swale?
Anxiety. The family was reeling with anxiety. And at a point in time, we decided that we were not even going to talk about it on air and all those kind of things because we weren't seeing any headway. But the police CID kept on giving us the hope that they were working on it and one day it will come up. And it has actually come up. So the anxiety that we had been on is gradually reducing as a particular suspect has been arrested. So the anxiety is coming on, and we are looking forward to getting more information and seeing what the court is going to do about it.
But today in court, we heard, as the lawyer for the accused was saying, describing the police's charge sheet as shambolic, and that in fact the police is going to amend the charge sheet of murder against the suspect. And he says that this is just a multitude of suspicions and allegations with no basis of fact in law. What was the family's reaction to all of this and how things are playing out right now?
Definitely, you will not have a lawyer go to court for accusation and tell the court that I have accepted whatever has been brought before you. They would have to put up a defense. So I see it as a defense mechanism. It is the lawyer's defense, and it is left between the lawyer and the prosecutors and the judge to determine whether what the lawyer is saying is actually true or what the prosecutors are saying is true. So it is a defense mechanism, and I will not fault the lawyer for defending his client. It is his client, and he has the right to defend the client. And he can call the charge sheet anyhow, and whatever it is a defense mechanism.
I'm sure the family is then going to wait till the next agenda date, is it not?
Yes, we can't wait to get to the 1st of April, which is the next agenda date, so that we'll all be in court to see whatever is happening.
Mustafa, appreciate your time on this, and I thank you very much for talking to us.
And thank you too for having me.
That's Mustafa Idris. He is the spokesperson for the family of the late investigative journalist Ahmed Swale. They're talking to us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Y and beyond. Let's stay a bit further on this because the lawyer for the accused, Daniel Kranting, also known as Nana Machi Kofi Asel, is going to be joining us on the telephone as well. And a bit on this, you've just heard from the family of Ahmed Swale, the spokesperson Mustafa Idrisu, indicating that the family was also dealing with a lot of anxiety over the period during the long silence on the investigations of who exactly is behind the murder of Ahmed Swale. Now we have a suspect, but the lawyer for the suspect was quite clear in his words earlier today after the court hearing. He's joining us on the telephone now. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Hello, good evening. It's Ocansey.
It's good to have you join us.
It's great to be on your platform.
Great. First off, you described this charge against your client as shambolic, to say the least. Why is that?
Okay. You are into... This is 3FM, right?
Yes.
And then 3FM, you run some TV programs, TV stations as well, right?
Indeed.
So you understand, you're a media person, you understand photographic evidence, right? Let's paint a picture. Someone says, I have evidence. You see the facts of the charge sheet says he has given pictures. That's what they say. They claim. It's just on an allegation for now. we leave it in the realms of allegations. Then you come back and charge him with murder, wherein you didn't see him at the crime scene, you don't have any murder weapon, you haven't connected him in any way to anything. All you say is he gave pictures, and then the pictures have resulted in a murder of somebody, and you charge him with murder. And then you know the elements of murder. So I don't know where. That's why I said it's shambolic. That's why I described it as being shambolic. I won't show them their work, but then it's quite bizarre that they come on that score just to get a remand, just to make it sensational by throwing just charge at him murder. I mean, they should know better. The people who just arraign him before the court. And then it's not a small charge, and it's not a small offense too. And that there are steps to be taken. If you are not ready, you don't come asking for remand in such instance when its investigation is supposed to be in perpetuity with the state's resources. You curtail someone's independence at the incompetence or the shortfalls of the state's investigative machinery. He's a citizen of Ghana, and he should be deemed innocent, not deemed guilty. That is not what the Constitution, Article 19 says. Otherwise, we are presuming guilt on him right now. There's that presumption of guilt on him. He's a media person. Ahmed is a media person. My heart goes out to the family, the wife and the children. But doesn't mean a young man should just take a fall for this, just like that. How do you come by this charge with no basis, no evidence? That is why I describe it as such. So I hope I've answered your question.
Well, indeed, was this charge of murder the only charge on the charge sheet that you were?
Only charge. That I don't want to even stress on it. Otherwise, it's like I'm teaching them their job. Also. I don't want to go there. I mean, if you that is the fact you come with, that someone has gotten pictures somewhere, someone has shown pictures, then someone has been killed. Someone who has met with someone and they've been friends, they know each other. You come back and say he has gone to murder somebody. Where do we get this from? Are we living in a banana republic? That the state will just level any charges to keep a citizen in custody? I mean, the law is clear. Everybody, Article 14 says you have freedom of movement. It is only can be curtailed by the court. But based on the facts and the circumstances. What are the facts and the circumstances in this matter? Someone travels to London when he doesn't know he's even a suspect. He comes back and you put a story out there. He's been a suspect. He run out of the country and is back. When someone has murdered somebody, you think he would ever come back if he has the chance or the liberty to travel outside? I mean, it doesn't hold any water.
Well, the prosecution said that the Cranton fled to the UK after declining. He said he declined multiple police invitations.
Oh, please.
Is that one that you are contesting, that your client did not receive multiple police invitations?
My instructions from my client involved us as a chamber was some few weeks ago. Then we called the police that we will come. Then we were going to go as a team, but then one of our lawyers had an emergency. The daughter was rushed to the hospital the very fateful day we were to go. So we in the heat of the moment, we couldn't even call him. Then we realized the next weekend they've come to pick him over the weekend, and he's been in police custody. Assisted them. And if you're asking someone questions, does it take more than 5 days to get what you want from him? Is it to break him psychologically or to get proper information from him?
But how long has he been in police custody?
Since Saturday. They picked him on a weekend.
They picked him on Saturday?
Yes. I gave him police inquiry bill Monday. Then Tuesday they arrested him, and then now they are arraigned him before the court. And they are not even ready. And this is a murder trial which should be trial by indictment, which we have to do a committal and all that. If you are not ready, why do you come and say you want a remand of a citizen of Ghana when you don't have anything on him? That is not how the Constitution protects its own. And we should come clear on this. We don't have second-class citizens. Now I hear the term, the nomenclature being used, the political class, and then the other citizenry are no citizens or what? There shouldn't be anything called political class. You rise and you aspire for an office and you rise up there and the people, the masses vote for you. There should not be any discrimination. We are all equal before the law. There's no political class. There's no ordinary person who comes from a village. I myself, I come from a village. So let the constitution work. Let the laws of Ghana work. And not people muzzling people around. Let's show power, sheer force of power.
I see. This charge of murder, has it been the only charge on the since he was arrested, or there was a previous charge that has been now changed to murder?
For that, we'll leave some of our arsenals. I can't say it all because we know what they did during the interrogations and writing of his statement and all. What they said to us as lawyers, we'll keep it at that, and we'll use it as our arsenals when the time is ripe.
Well, there's something more than what we're reading. You said they did something during the interrogation to him?
Mr. Ocansey, they said they charged me with one charge, and you're asking me, was there more than that? The police preferred. That's why we use the word preferred charges. They have preferred it. So,
but you because I asked because you are saying that during the interrogation something more happened, a lot more happened, which you are going to.
It's an administrative thing. That's what I'm saying. We will have the privilege of being with our client. He's been questioned one way or the other by the police. So I don't want to go into the administrative side of it. We'll leave it at that. As I said, you are asking if there is more. And I said it's the police who prefer charges or the ages. So we'll leave it to them. When the time is ripe, we'll also present our client's defense and whatever. Even if we will even get there, if there's even a probability of even getting there, they won't surmount establishing a prima facie case. There's nothing against him.
So you are saying your client is being made to take the fall for this murder?
Mr. Ocansey. Okay, let's say in the heat of the moment, I said someone is being made to take a fall. There's a murder. The police should be vigilant and efficient about their investigations and not just through, circumstantial evidence that leads to about 17 people who are probable suspects. Tiger IPI had more than 17 members of staff when my client was still a staff. He had walked away. He had done his own investigations, brought people to book people who are selling bad drugs for stuff, people to enhance their bars and do this and that. The client has been doing some underground and helping state institutions. You can go and ask. He has been airing undercover investigations and revealing very bad acts and omissions of state institutions and other individuals. So he's not a criminal. He's been here. Last year, he had what do we call it? This thing, documentaries. He had documentaries about to come out, and very, very damning and revealing. So we don't know where it's coming from. He's an undercover investigator. He has done things. So I don't know. So we can't tell. It could be a whole conspiracy theory. So we'll leave it at that. We don't want to descend into the realm of conspiracies and conjectures and all that. So let's leave it at that.
We'll definitely make time to join you in court on April 1.
Very well. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah. But I have to protect my client's identity. No videos on him.
Indeed. Rightly so.
Because we know how this case is streamed together with facts to make him look so bad.
Oh, and he protected his identity in court today as well. So, being in the face mask and all.
I guess will crave your indulgence to do that for me.
Rightly so. That's noted.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Ocansey.
Thank you, Counsel, for joining us. That's Kofi Asel. He's a private legal practitioner, lawyer for the accused in this Ahmed Swale murder. Daniel Kranting, also known as Nana Machi, who is also an investigative journalist himself, as you've just heard his lawyer say, that he was also producing a documentary that was meant to be aired and was working also as a freelancer for the Tiger IPI. So this is a story that is playing out in a very interesting way. We're also learning today, right now, from his lawyer, that he's been in police custody since Saturday. That's over the last almost 5 days now. So that's what we're hearing right now. So stay with us here on Hot Edition. This is an issue that we are monitoring quite closely. We'll give you some more details. It's some 29 minutes to the top of the hour, 6 p.m. here on Hot Edition now. The minority leader, Alexander Akrofi Ocansey, has accused the government of conniving with the Koforidua High Court to harass the Member of Parliament for the Akwatia constituency, Ernest Yakumi. This comes after the Interior Minister, Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak, justified attempts to arrest Ernest Yakumi following the issuance of a bench warrant for his arrest for contempt by the Koforidua High Court. Addressing journalist Alexander Akrofi Ocansey urged the security operatives to adhere to the laws of the state. He says his side will file a question soon to ask the Attorney General, Minister for Justice, to explain how the Eastern Region High Court colluded with the National Investigations Bureau on the attempted murder, the attempted arrest of the Member of Parliament for the Akwatia constituency, Ernest Yakumi. He said this at the press conference in Parliament earlier today.
NIB attempted arresting Honorable Ernest Yakumi of Akwatia. We found it very strange that the minister justified the actions of the National Investigation Bureau. Clearly, there is collusion between the government and the High Court, Koforidua, to use their own set of laws in our country. How can the minister tell us that the court order could be enforced by the National Security Coordinator's rep in Eastern Region, and the rep, upon receipt of the so-called court order, also forwarded it to the National Investigation Bureau? With the greatest respect, that is not how our laws work. When there is a court order, it is for the registrar to assign a bailiff for the purposes of enforcing the order. This was a situation where the Supreme Court had already frozen the enforcement of that order. So for a week after the ruling of the court, to hear that now state security operatives were harassing the Member of Parliament in his constituency, but for the intervention of his constituents, they were armed with pickup vehicles, and in fact, they actually pulled a pistol on the MP, trying to threaten him, to force him into the pickup. I think that the NDC government must know that this country is a country of rule of law. And I can assure the government that today a question will be filed for the Attorney General to come and answer the circumstances leading to the judiciary in Eastern Region, the High Court in Eastern Region, colluding with the National Security Coordinator, and for that matter.
That's Alexander Akrofi Ocansey there, a minority leader. Let's go on to the telephone, because this is a matter that is already in court, is playing out in court, and there's an agenda date. In fact, even before the court would hear the case again on this agenda, this is Akrofi Ocansey addressing the media. Isaac Mintalabi is lead counsel for the NDC candidate in the Akwatia constituency, joining us on the telephone right now. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition.
Good evening, sir.
First of all, I want to find out from you this position Alexander Akrofi Ocansey espouses, that he essentially is questioning the party and the Interior Ministry's alleged collusion with the National Intelligence Bureau to harass the Akwatia MP in the constituency. What's going on there?
Good evening to your listeners. You know, I take very serious exception to the press conference of today, because you see, the attempt the attempt to malign the Koforidua High Court and the High Court judge sitting on this matter at every minute, every second that they get is really unfortunate. And, at some point, things need to come to an end. Because, the court needs to be given the opportunity to do their work. If a court, renders its decision on any matter that is before it, and you are agreed, there are other processes that an aggrieved party, can access, including an appeal or maybe a judicial review, which is which they are filed before the Supreme Court. Let the judges and let the courts do their work. At the end of the day, all of us have to give ultimate and utmost respect to the courts and the judges, so that there will be confidence in that is the dispensation that they deliver to this country. You see, the honorable minority leader is trying to confuse the public in order to cut maybe some kind of sympathy for the embattled Ernest Kumi, the MPP parliamentary candidate for Akwatia. If you refuse or if you try to disrespect the court, the powers of the court will be unleashed against you. Everybody knows it. This is very fundamental. It's all over the place. You cannot disrespect the court under any circumstance. Now, everything aside, the court has convicted Ernest Kumi. As we stand, he's a convict of the court of law of this country. He's a convict. Until that conviction is either set aside or quashed, he is a convict. Now, as a convict, when any time the court pronounce you guilty and convict you, the next is sentencing, which is the next in line. Without conviction, there can't be sentencing. The court has proceeded to convict you for contempt, and then it is now ready for sentencing by legal procedure. Anytime a person is convicted in absentia, what the court must do is to issue a bench warrant to cause the arrest of the said person to be put before the court, so the court can now pass sentence. What Ernest Kumi lawyers did was to somehow find a way to procure an order to stay the sentencing. The orders of the Supreme Court has got nothing to do with the bench warrant. The bench warrant, until it is set aside, is still operational and effective and can be enforced at any time. So this press conference that they are trying to claim the NIB or national security, and then even involving the court and claiming that the government and the security agencies are in collusion with the High Court in Koforidua, with the greatest of respect. When you make assertions, and I know Alfred Martin is a lawyer, when you make assertions, you're ready to provide proof. And I know he cannot prove this. And that's why I'm wondering why you come out with the press conference in order to come and say these things publicly, when I know definitely he doesn't have any evidence to support this. What? He needs to restrain himself, so he does not get this, he does not muddy the water, because the courts are doing their work. I see that they realize their case at the Supreme Court has crumbled. And so instead of focusing on that, they are spending their time and attention on other matters in order to cause public dissatisfaction for the government or to get some public sympathy. But that is not what we as the lawyers we are supposed to be focusing on. We are supposed to focus our job in the courtroom and then do the best that we can for our clients and accept the outcome. If we are unhappy with the outcome, we believe there are some legal breaches or lacunas we can explore. We do that professionally for clients and move to the next level, either by statutory judicial review or by appeal. And so I wish that my brother Alfred Ocansey will stop these public utterances and every time trying to tarnish the integrity of the High Court, the Koforidua, and the judge and all of that. I don't think, with the greatest of respect, I think he needs to put an end to that.
Oh, he's saying, in fact, he's alleging that at some point in the constituency, some persons pulled a pistol on the Akwatia MP, and so all this act of intimidation. Is that something that you have knowledge of?
I cannot speak to that. I have no idea who the person is. I have no idea whether this is true or not. I cannot speak to that. But if all of this is trying to connect it to the High Court in Koforidua, that would be very unfortunate.
But he says the attempt to arrest Ernest Kumi is a clear example of collusion between the government and the Koforidua High Court. and the fact that it is troubling that the Interior Minister, Muntaka Mubarak, would even go ahead to justify the actions of the National Intelligence Bureau. And in his view, when a court issues an order, it is the registrar's responsibility to assign a bailiff to enforce it, not national security operatives. And in this case, the Supreme Court had clearly frozen the enforcement of that order, is it not?
You see, that's exactly what I meant when I said that, he's trying to confuse the public. And to what end or to whatever intention he wants to achieve, I have no idea. But you see, you cannot, try to, misrepresent the facts.
Which facts have been represented here?
Yes, you see, the orders of the court are carried out in different ways. It depends on the kind of order the court has made. A person convicted and a bench warrant issued for, that is enforced by the security, not a bailiff. A bailiff cannot arrest a person. You see, so Alfred Market cannot say that. He cannot say that. You cannot say that when the orders of the court are made, they are enforced by a bailiff. With the greatest of respect, a bailiff has no powers of arrest. He cannot go and arrest anyone. It is a security agency. So a bench warrant is issued, directed at the security agency concerned. It could be the police, it could be whatever security agency, depending on how the order is made. And the security agencies, they collaborate. If they need each other's help to be able to enforce certain orders of the court, they collaborate amongst themselves. So whether it is NIB or whether it is police or the soldiers or whatever it is, to the extent that it is an order from the court directed at a particular security agency to arrest a named person in the bench warrant and to produce the person before the court. You cannot say that that has to be enforced by a bailiff. With the greatest of respect, where is this coming from? He cannot say that because a bailiff has no power to arrest. So how can he say that when the court makes an order, it is the bailiff that goes to enforce it? With the greatest of respect, he cannot say that. And that's what I'm saying. He's trying to confuse the public, and misrepresent the fact. He cannot say that.
So what is going to be your next step after this condemnation? Because this matter is still in court and it's playing out in court as we're saying it. What's for you as a party in the constituency and also battling the legitimacy of NSCOMI, what's going to be your next step?
Well, we go back to the drawing board and see our next line of action. But I think that some of these utterances are unfortunate, and I hope that our brother Alfred Makin will not continue with this kind of behavior. It's very unfortunate because you cannot see that it's a belief that must go and enforce a bench warrant. How? If an ordinary person says this, maybe he can be accused. But Alfred Makin is a lawyer, so with the greatest of respect, he cannot organize a whole press conference and say something like that. It's unfortunate.
Well, I thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Mintalabi.
You're welcome, sir.
Isaac Mintalabi is lead counsel for the NDC lawyers in the Eastern region, and also on the matter of the Akwatia constituency. And this is one that the NDC is contesting the legitimacy of NSCOMI as MP elect for the Akwatia constituency. And this is one that also is playing out at the Supreme Court. So stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Okay, updating you. But there's some information coming through from the Narcotics Control Commission. They're saying they've arrested a long-time drug trafficking suspect, Uchechukwu Chima, in a successful intelligence-led operation at Oyarifa, a suburb of Accra. The 56-year-old Nigerian national was apprehended on Tuesday, March 18, following a search of his hideout, which the commission says uncovered 192 kilograms of cocaine and also 0.42 kilograms of heroin. Field tests confirmed the substance as narcotics with an estimated street value of $2.1 million. Chima, who has been on Narcotic Control Commission's radar for some time now, is believed to be the mastermind behind several past drug seizures. Narcotic Control Commission says his arrests represent a major breakthrough in Ghana's fight against drug trafficking and reaffirmed its commitment to making Ghana an unprofitable destination for drug cartels and ensuring public safety. So this is a statement coming through from the Narcotics Control Commission, and they're on the arrest of this 56-year-old Nigerian national, Uchechukwu Chima Atoyarefa, here in Accra. Let's go to some other stories here on Hot Edition. The government has revealed all mining licenses issued and also implemented sometime between December 7 and now as part of efforts to combat illegal mining, also known as Galamsey. The decision followed the recommendations of the joint committee set up by the Lands and Natural Resources Ministry and the Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation. The revocation of the licenses forms part of the broad plan to tackle the destruction of forest reserves and water bodies by illegal mining activities. Addressing a news conference on the ministry's policies and programs, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofi-Boa, also disclosed that 7 out of 9 forest reserves affected by illegal mining have been successfully reclaimed.
That we need to take immediate actions on some things based on the advice and the recommendations of the key committees. We are going full steam ahead to revoke all licenses based on the findings. All licenses, small-scale licenses that were issued from December 7th is hereby revoked. Whether you have EPA licenses, because the finding is very clear. Those licenses from December 7th were rushed, the due processes were not followed, and the right things were not done. Secondly, the existing community mining schemes are in name only, as I've said. They are to be disbanded and replaced with small-scale mining cooperatives that actually serve and benefit the communities. With immediate effect, banning all of that, basically, and reviewing them and turning them into community mining cooperatives.
As the minister there. So let's take a look at the other recommendations by the Joint Committee. A coordinated effort among key ministries, agencies, and MMDCs to combat illegal mining. 2, licensing of small-scale mining should start at the district level. 3, property control and regulation on imports of excavators. 4, complete ban on fabrication and importation of floating equipment for mining. 5, training for small-scale mining license holders. And 6, name and shame people holding prominent positions who are involved in illegal mining. Now, also, they've recommended revoking all small-scale mining licenses issued after December 7, which has been done, we understand, and disband all existing community mining schemes and replace them with community mining cooperatives. Community mining schemes exist in name only with little to no benefit for local communities. And they also talk about a review of current licensing regime and establish a technical small-scale mining committee to review all existing small-scale mining licenses. We're going to run through a few of these recommendations as time will permit us, but one of the leading CSOs in the environment space in this country, they've been at the forefront of this call for the fight against illegal mining, is Arocha Ghana, Deputy National Coordinator and Director for Arocha. Is joining us on the telephone right now, Daryl Bosso. Daryl, thank you for joining us here on Hot Edition. This certainly must come as some good news for you in that fight against illegal mining. Hearing that 7 out of 9 forest reserves completely taken over by illegal miners have been reclaimed, and then also these licenses issued after December 7 all been declared null and void.
Good evening to you, Alfred, and I believe you are great. And I must say, I think that yes, it's good. It's good to hear these very important steps being taken by the Honorable Minister and by the Ministry. I think that these are some of the critical recommendations that we'll be looking forward to, that the government will immediately put into effect. So it's really, really good to hear all of these things. And I am particularly very happy about the creation of all small-scale mining licenses now. And I think that's very important because we have for a long time been saying that, look, there needs to be a critical audit of the licensing regime. So because it's not only just about small-scale mining licenses with irregularities, but also we realize that even with the large-scale mining companies, there's very issues to that. If you look at some of the mining companies, for example, that were giving concessions to mining first reserve, the manner in which these mining concessions were given and all of that, they all need to be audited. And I'm sure if we do that, almost all the mining concessions also for large scale, for mining some of the stuff that will be revoked. So I think it's very, very important that the government is taking these steps. I am also very happy to see that the government is really looking at the community mining scheme. We have always said that, look, this scheme is not needed. We don't need it now. To be done away with, and it's good the government wants to see, because of course we realize that it was not really the community who were doing it. There were rather people from outside the community who come into the area, get a concession, and then come and mine in a particular area. So if we are now making sure that the communities really benefit from this, it's very, very important. On the matter of excavators, on the matter of machines for chamfans and other machines for washing used by some of these legalities, I think it's good to see the government make some of these announcements. But I think we need to be very careful here. I remember in 2019, the previous administration passed 995, which made it even more punitive for anybody to have the state to finance and to pay illegal mining activities. What was lacking with that was enforcement. So with all of these great statements or declarations that have been made today, we are going to wait to see how the government moves forward with enforcement. I think that is where the biggest is going to be, and that is where we all need to be paying attention to. But there's an issue that I think we need to avert our mind to when it comes to the issue of the revocation of small-scale mining licenses. Now, the question here, if indeed these mining licenses have irregularities, why is the CEO of the Minerals Commission, who's superintendent over these particular irregularities, still in office? And I don't understand why he still remains there. If a lot of the licenses that were given us had issues that were still given, why is he still there? We need to build trust in the system. We cannot do that by still maintaining the same people who are responsible for the kind of mess we find ourselves now. So I think whilst we are applauding the government for coming out and taking steps to make some of these very strong pronouncements, we need enforcement, but we also need to make sure that we can have trust in the system by changing the people at the helm of affairs. I think we need to make people more accountable to some of the things they've done in relation to the mess and then also the coming that we are faced with now, so that anybody who takes the seat next time will then come to appreciate the fact that, look, we demand, we have some expectation of you. If you can't deliver, then you have to step aside for someone else to do the job.
So you question the continuous stay of Martin Kwekwe, is he in office as CEO of Minerals Commission?
Exactly, because if mining licenses he issued have been revoked, then there's a problem. That means that, there was no due diligence. They didn't ensure that the right things were done. If you heard the minister, a lot of these licenses were rushed through and all that. Why was that the case? Why were we in a hurry to? And so it really begs a lot of questions. And I think that while we are really lauding the ministry for revoking these licenses, I think they have one more thing to do. They need to also revoke the appointment of the CEO of the Minerals Commission, so that we know that it's complete, accountability is complete, and then we can really start afresh.
I see, and Darryl, hold on a bit for me. I'm going to come back to you. Michael Kojo-Pepra is president of the Small Scale Miners Association. He's on the other line as well. Michael, thank you for joining us. So, would you also agree with that call by Darryl Bosu of Arocha Ghana, CSO in the environment space, that if these mining licenses have been revoked, the ones issued after December 7, then the CEO of the Minerals Commission should also go because he's superintendent?
First of all, let me greet my brother who just spoke. I think he said it all. I cannot understand the reason why people will use dubious means in acquiring a license. And as a matter of fact, the person who is in charge of that dubious means is still in post. It's a question we all need to ask. And as a matter of fact, if indeed we want to get rid of what has happened, and as a matter of fact, if indeed we want to revoke those licenses, then AEC must be sacked with immediate effect. Because I can see, and I've always said that Minerals Commission is a crime scene. You know, somebody can even, before somebody can even mine in the forest reserves, you need to go through stages, processes. But here is a case where somebody can apply for a concession in a forest reserve, and within some days, you'll be given or granted a mining lease to go and mine in those forest reserves. As a matter of fact, Minerals Commission is responsible to accept an application or to reject it. And the person who is in charge of this criminal activity is still there. And we are talking about people going about other means to acquire licenses. And at the end of the day, the minister is saying that he needs to revoke or investigate those people who had acquired licenses illegally. And the person who made the minister sign these licenses is still there and is with the minister. It's called to an investigation. And as a matter of fact, AEC must be sacked. I think today the minister brought about some communique. One about the banning of importation of excavator. I don't think it's going to yield any results in the sense that these machines we have enough machines in the country. So what happens to the machines that are already in the system? And as a matter of fact, mining or some are being engaged in illegal mining. We need to see the minister as a manager, somebody who is going to manage the problem so that at least we can be able to solve this Galamsey issue. But then if you come out with blanket ban, like what the previous government did and we couldn't achieve anything, then we are sorry. We need to use a different approach. And in so doing, people should be seeing that the minister is using the managerial aspect, not using the brute force or not using the command kind of system to solve this issue.
I see. So you're questioning, I mean, why do you say that the ban on the excavator, and this is the specific recommendation, it said that they are going to disband, beg your pardon, this is the ban on the importation and fabrication and importation of floating equipment for mining. That's different. Do you support this one as well? The complete ban on the fabrication and importation of floating equipment for mining.
I don't really understand in the sense that
you know the equipment he's talking about, the chamfans and then others that you use on the water bodies, the river bodies, and that's what he's talking about.
Engine can also be used for the milling, right? Like the Mechanical, they use this chamfan as an engine.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so if indeed we want to solve this problem, banning chamfan would not solve it, or would not solve this issue. They can easily use pumping machines to go about their normal activities to mine with impunity in our various forests, in our various rivers. So we need to have an holistic approach than to just be banning. Because people who are mining on the water, right, the equipment they use, some of the small scale miners who have acquired their licenses use the same equipment. Just that this one will be able to use the engine to mine in the forest or in the various water bodies, and others might be as well use it to do their normal responsible mining. So we just need to be very skeptical on this kind of ban. If not, at least people would as well import it maybe to Togo and then find a way to smuggle it into this country. What can we do to make sure we stop people who are mining in our various water bodies? At least he has brought about the water guard. It's a very good initiative we all need to support. And I think when the deputy minister was speaking, he said some are going to be used as whistleblowers. And it's a very good initiative. Because as I speak to you now, somebody sent me a a video of people mining on the water body in Dunkwao. The person has done a human job. And at the end of the day, we are going to make sure we get a task force to go and clear them on the water bodies. Information is key when you want to achieve results. So we should encourage people to be seen as partners than to at least let people believe that this is only a fight that government needs to win. We all need to make sure we protect our forest reserves. We all need to understand we need to protect our river bodies. And in so doing, it's a collective job for every citizen of this country.
Michael, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you. Michael Pepra is the president of the Small Scale Mining Association. Darryl, he comments this initiative of the water gas, but for you think there's a waste of resources. I earlier heard you say this. Why is that?
Yes, Alfred. I think, yes, I heard my brother also talk about the fact that it's a good initiative. I must say that the Blue Water Initiative, as we need to understand in terms of its purpose to clean our rivers, is definitely a good initiative, and we are in full support of that. But we definitely have a problem with we setting up the river guards as whistleblowers, particularly knowing that communities have already been doing this job for free and without cost to the state. If you go to most communities across the country, even where mining is very prevalent, there are community chairpersons, assembly persons, community youth groups, and women's groups. All of these people are very eager to report on illegalities happening. The biggest challenge they have all faced is somebody being on standby to provide them rapid and swift response. So the issue is not about whistleblowing. The issue is more about enforcement and swift action. That is what is missing. So if we have resources to really invest in getting the actions on the ground, issues on the ground addressed, then we need to find ways to resource the police with logistics, to resource the rapid response of the Forestry Commission with sufficient resources so that on the call, anytime somebody calls them that, look, this is happening here, they can be able to respond swiftly. That is what is missing. So for something that's already been done for free, why is the government deciding to take that cost when there's no need for it? And that is where we think that we have been better and used for resourcing the various enforcement agencies to be very responsive of the communities. There are district police officers, the sub-division officers, and what do you call it, regional commands that are not responsive to communities. And that is why we have failed at the community level.
Darryl, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
It's the Deputy National Director of Arocha, Ghana. It's live here on Hot Edition. We're back with more in the world of business. Michael Obodo is standing by after this quick break. Stay with us.
Ghana, it's time to globalize. The Gobe Nation and Gobe Eaters Association is time to assemble. Get ready for Ghana's ultimate beans-based food festival, 3FM Gobe Festival 2025. This year on the 22nd of March at Lagos City Mall, we're on a mission to celebrate all things beans from your favorite vendors. Come and immerse yourself in an electrifying atmosphere filled with great food, refreshing drinks, live band music, fun games, jama sessions, crown our king and queen of Gobe, and find out who wins Gobeathon amongst many activities. 3FM Gobe Festival on the 22nd of March at Legon City Mall from 10 a.m. If you're an interested vendor or sponsor, please call 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927 right now. Let's get Gobelicious on the 22nd of March and make history at 3FM's Gobe Festival at Legon City Mall. It's absolutely free. 3FM Gobe Festival 2025, celebrating culture, love, and unity through Gobe. Powered by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. Proudly sponsored by Origin.
Hello there, good evening and welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. Coming up tonight, economist urges President Mahama to be intentional in fostering indigenous private sector growth. I am Michael Obodo. Details of these and many other stories coming up shortly. Please stay. straight into our top story now. Economist Professor Alfred Ocansey is urging President John Dramani Mahama to prioritize creating an enabling environment that fosters the growth of indigenous private sector businesses. According to him, sustainable economic growth and transformation envisaged by the government cannot be achieved without intentional efforts to develop Ghanaian businesses. The highlights that the move will empower local businesses to drive economic growth, create jobs, and improve living standards.
The president should be intentional, sector from sector, and say that in the next 4 years, by the time I leave, this is the businesses I've supported. We pick them from micro to medium to large, and all of them. We have to be intentional. From banking, from telecom, from mining, we must be intentional about increasing local content. That is a must. That is not to say we hate foreign capital, but let me tell you, every country is looking within. Every country is looking at how they can create opportunities for indigenous businesses. We've seen the interest rate coming down. We need to sustain it. I've said before that what constitutes an enabling business environment for private sector is not an interest rate of 20% or 18% or 11%. We are looking at something around 8 or below 8%, and the maturity lengthened to about 15 years.
Professor of Finance at the University of Ghana Business School, Alfred Ocansey, speaking there. Now, Chief Executive of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Mark Bedu Abaje, is encouraging businesses to position themselves to take full advantage of government policies, particularly in the agricultural value chain. He emphasizes that the chamber will provide support to its members, facilitating access to effective funding and equipping them to capitalize on emerging opportunities. He reiterated the chamber's commitment to advocating for fiscal and monetary policies that promote local businesses.
The budget may be more complicated for ordinary business person, so it's our responsibility as a chamber to break it down, simplify it, so that you look at the opportunities there and how they can take advantage of. A clear case is how government want to procure locally manufactured goods, and that is a big opportunity for us. So if you're a manufacturer, if you're doing anything, you know that government will procure from locally. So you position yourself to be able to do that. I see another opportunity within the agricultural sector where government is expected that you pump in about 1.5 billion. It's the Ghanaians who are going to do it. So any business person within that sector is supposed to be able to take advantage. Then for agri, it's not only for production, it's only for agro-processing as well. So those within that value chain can also take advantage of. So I see a lot of opportunity in there. And for us, I think that we are giving them enough information, the businesses who are here, be able to position themselves and take advantage of all the opportunities within their budget.
So that was Mark Bedu Abaje. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Now, the board chair of Trademark Africa and former Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Boshe has emphasized that the success of the African Continental Free Trade Area after hinges on private sector leadership. Speaking at the Visionary Dialogue Dinner organized in collaboration with the Ghana Chamber of Construction, Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry, he stated that while governments set policies, it is businesses that have the capacity to turn them into economic gains. Despite AfCFTA's 3 trillion trade potential since its launch 5 years ago, African nations have yet to fully capitalize on the agreement's benefits.
This vision will be built or broken by the private sector. Governments negotiate, but it is businesses, your businesses, that must turn policy into prosperity. How do we make this happen? Let's be honest. Intra-African trade remains stuck at just 15%. Compare that to 50% in Asia, and we still export raw materials and import finished goods at 5 times the price. So what must change? I believe 3 things has to change. First, scale. Ghanaian firms should now start thinking continentally, and AfCFTA is the launch pad.
So that was the board chair of Trademark Africa and former Ethiopian Prime Minister Haile Mariam Boshe there, bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please visit our website. It's 3news.com/business. I am Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is sports, and the Rico is on standby. Stay tuned.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition on CFM 92.7. My name is Oreku Ampofo. Asante Kotoko, they squandered an opportunity to extend their lead at the top of the Ghana Premier League table after being held to a goalless draw by Young Apostles at the Wenchi Sports Stadium earlier today. Let's make our way to the venue where my colleague Emmanuel Owusu is standing by with live updates on that match as well as other games as well. Emmanuel, can you hear me? And how was the match? 0-0 in the end. Do Kotoko really feel like 2 points drop, or it could be a point gain for them? I think we're trying to see whether we would get Emmanuel Owusu on the phone lines there. But let's just quickly go through some of the outstanding matches from the Ghana Premier League that was played earlier today. Bechem United, they beat Heart of Oak by 1-0. What that means is that the Phobians have now suffered back-to-back defeats, especially over the weekend when they lost against Dreams FC at home and have now lost against Bechem United. And then Heart of Lion, surprisingly, losing at home to Dreams FC, who have been in and around the relegation zone. Dreams won this match by 2-1. Holy Stars lost at home to BBNE Gold Stars by 1-0. Indiana Stars were also 1-0 victors against Nations FC away. And Summertex, they returned to winning ways, beating Mediama by 2-1. And then Young Apostles held Asante Kotoko to a 0-0 draw. Legon Cities would be facing Vision FC at 7 p.m. in the final match of the day. With regards to how things do look at the top of the table, it's BBNE Gold Stars who take advantage and now climb back to the top of the Ghana Premier League table with 40 points. Asante Kotoko sit second with 39. Hearts of Lions to remain third with 37. Bechem United climb into the top four with 36 points, same as Heart of Oak, who are in fifth. With regards to the relegation battle, Accra Lions to remain rooted at the bottom of the table with 16 points. Kerala United with 18 and Legon Cities with 20 points. And Swatriman sit just outside the bottom three with 21 points as well. Until we'll be bringing you more on the Ghana Premier League, as remember that there are a lot of games to catch up on after a 30-day hiatus. Let me see whether Emmanuel can hear me now. Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Yeah, right. I can hear you now.
Okay, we've just gone through the Ghana Premier League fixtures. You had the privilege of being at the Wenchi Sports Stadium where Young Apostles held Asante Kotoko to a goalless draw. I was asking, is it 2 points drop for Kotoko, or could it be seen as a point gained?
Well, all right, thanks very much. Let's greet your listeners on 3FM. It was much not disappointed for Kotoko because looking at the points gap now between Kotoko and Baby and Go Stars, Go Stars sits at the summit of the league with 40, Kotoko at the second with 39. So it's just 1 point. But I think a win for Kotoko would have helped them maintain the summit of the league. It was a little fair game today because both teams showed much aggressiveness, especially the home team Young Apostles, who came in the game very strongly, especially in the second half. They dominated the play, creating some decent chances. At the later part of the game, it took the intervention of goalkeeper Alfred Akrofi, who denying a strike from a substitute called Razak Sapon. He nearly scored a goal for Young Apostles to steal the points, but the intelligence of goalkeeper Alfred Akrofi was big enough to save the situation for Asante Kotoko. It wasn't a much enjoyable game because the pitch itself wasn't good for today's game. It was a bit looking bumping, so players were finding it a bit difficult to play a normal flowing football. They decided to balloon the ball anytime they received the ball, which then really made the fans at the stadium enjoy the match. Coach Prosper Ogum even admitted after the game that the pitch did not, help them. Again, he attributed their performance today to fatigue. He believed that the journey they made to Summer Boy, from Kumasi to Summer Boy back to Kumasi, cost them almost 14 hours, and players were a bit fatigued, and they had to travel for like 4 hours to Wenchi and play today's game. So he believed that the pitch could not help them much, and again, fatigue set in. But he's saying that taking a point or even a 2 points out of the last 6, that is Summer's game and today's game, is a bit okay for them, and they can still compete because, like I said earlier, the points gap is just one between themselves and then Gold Stars who are leading. So running through today's game, Hawks of Hope could not, win today. They lost at Bichim 1-0. The Burkumi Chelsea game when Instructor could not come on today because we all know Instructor have decided to withdraw from the league. Heart of Lions today very shockingly lost 2-1 to Dreams FC, and then Patrick Holy Stars also sat home and lost to Baby and Go Stars. Mediana Stars was able to pick a point, all the points at Nations, the very difficult grounds at Dr. Kwame Chase Sports Complex today. And then again, Samate's winning 2-1 over Mediama, and then Young Apostle drawing 0-0 to Kotoko. So at Gwenchi today, it wasn't too enjoyable game because of the pitch. Then again, it was a midweek game. Attendance wasn't quite impressive, but the police were there in their numbers. I could count like 30 policemen at the inner perimeter. So, said, it wasn't too pleasing to me. The performance of Kotoko today wasn't looking much impressive, but I believe there was some fatigue. I could not see much intense from Kotoko as I used to know them. Kwame Puku attack was a bit moving, the same as Dauda Saka, and then an informed Isaac Minta, who couldn't also play as expected. So it wasn't a really enjoyable game. Even to the fans, they complained that the team they used to know wasn't what they saw today.
And just before we wrap up with you, Emmanuel Owusu, what do you think is probably going on with Kumasi Asante Kotoko? What's happening to them? A draw with Samatex, a draw with Young Apostles. But though both of them have been away from home, are there issues?
For Kotoko, the team is a bit depleted. If you're looking at today's lineup, they have no defender sitting on the sub because Joseph Abloy is nursing an injury. Mohamed Kamara, the goalkeeper, is suspended through the instruction game. Justice Bill is also suspended. The likes of Andrews, Peter Midoakwa is also suspended. So they have 4 suspension and battering some minor injuries. Others are recovering. So the team look a bit depleted. The coach now has to force players to play position that they are not used to. For instance, Michael Sifa, who played at the right back today, is not a natural right back. He used to play as a central midfielder, but the Loramwa, who is a normal, who's their normal right back, is also injured. So the team is a bit depleted, and the coach is finding it difficult getting its full starting lineup that he used to play in many matches. And I think that is the reason why the team is struggling. I'm sure if they start recovering from the injury, Kotoko could have bounced back as we used to know them. Luckily for them, they'll be playing 2 home matches, and I'm sure they'll use that to beat up.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Owusu, for joining us on Hot Edition just to give us updates on the Ghana Premier League. We've also gone through the results from today and also the league table as things do stand. Let's turn our attentions from Kumasi Asante Kotoko and the Ghana Premier League and talk about the Black Stars who will be in action in a couple of days' time. And 2024 was a year to forget for the national team as they failed to qualify for the AFCON for the first time in 2 decades. There's been a number of issues surrounding the team, one of which was the leadership structure among the playing body with multiple changes in captaincy. In an exclusive interview with 3 Sports, head coach Otuado highlighted how the matter has seemingly been put to bed.
Yeah, I think we've been having a lot of talks also afterwards. I've been talking to a lot of players, but like always, there's never a guarantee for nothing. But surely, I think it's very important that leadership is not like just coming like that. The leaders, and I think, like I said, I hope that we learn our lessons. We have really, really positive talks. Everybody was very insightful, and it comes with responsibility in all kind of things. And if responsibility sometimes also to sacrifice for the team, for the bigger aim. And if we qualify for this World Cup, everybody will benefit, and this is what we have to look for. And sometimes it's as a player to take sacrifice. Sometimes it's not only about the 11 who are on the pitch, it's also about those who are on the bench, how much they really push the other teammates. And if we work together as a team, I'm very, very sure we can achieve everything.
Well, we still stay with Otuado because he continues to then talk about his support cast, which has been revamped with the addition of Winfred Schaefer as the technical advisor and then Desmond Ofei as assistant coach.
Yeah, I think everybody has different qualities. Surely, I think Desmond has done a very, very good job with the under-20s. He's bringing in his experience in working with national teams, but I think it's also a good quality, tactical and technical-wise, what he's bringing in. He's very, very supportive, and surely Winfred Schaefer has big experience. He has won the African Cup with Cameroon. He knows how to deal with difficult situations. So we've been talking a lot. He's been engaging from the first day with the players, and I'm very, very happy that he's on board.
Well, to some other stories where MP for Tamale South and owner of Kerala United, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, has poured out his frustrations with the Ghana Football Association and the sporting system. Speaking on the floor of Parliament earlier on Wednesday, Haruna emphasized on the need to focus more on grassroots football development when it comes to Ghana.
At the local level, Mr. Speaker, officiating is poor. Not the best at all. And the pitches, Mr. Speaker, let me share this with the Minister. Currently, I use Tamale Sports Stadium, Aliu Muhammad Sports Stadium as a venue for Kerala. Even the field, it is not the state, not the National Sports Authority. We've had to fix it for our purposes in order to meet the minimum requirement of the GFA in order to use the pitch for purpose of our competitive football. So that's why I say that you have to have a lot of interest. The GFA, where are they spending their money on?
And so that was Haruna Idrisu speaking there. Before you go, let's do some tennis where Emma Raducanu breezed past into the second round of the Miami Open with a commanding straight sets win over Japanese teenager Sayaka Ishii. The British number 2 just took over an hour to progress 6-2, 6-1 and will face American 8th seed Emma Navarro next. For more sports updates, you can follow us on social media at 3 Sports GH. My name is Oreku Ampofu.
Gobe Nation and Gobe Eaters Association, it's time to assemble. Get ready for Ghana's ultimate beans-based food festival, 3FM Gobe Festival 2025. This year on the 22nd of March at Lagos City Mall, we're on a mission to celebrate all things beans from your favorite vendors. Come and immerse yourself in an electrifying atmosphere filled with great food, refreshing drinks, live band music, fun games, jama sessions, crown our king and queen of Gobe, and find out who wins Gobeathon amongst many activities. 3FM Gobe Festival on the 22nd of March at Legon City Mall from 10 a.m. If you're an interested vendor or sponsor, please call 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927 right now. Let's get Gobelicious on the 22nd of March and make history at 3FM's Gobe Festival at Legon City Mall. It's absolutely free. 3FM Gobe Festival 2025, celebrating culture, love, and unity through Gobe. Powered by 3FM 92.7, your urban lifestyle radio. Proudly sponsored by Origin.
Welcome back to Hot Edition. Now, the Ghana Meteorological Agency has been certified with the ISO 9001-2015 by the certification group in the United Kingdom, making it the best weather forecast institution in West Africa. Being recognized officially with the ISO certification 9001 means that the Ghana Meteorological Agency systems have been independently and impartially assessed and audited and met the defined requirements of ISO international standards. At the ceremony to receive the certification in Accra, Director General of the agency, Dr. Esuman, said the agency was committed to carrying on the good work and expressed a hope to improve on areas the agency was deficient in.
Expert advice on wetlands and bird sanctuaries and other climate-related areas. Specialized aeronautical meteorological services meeting international standards. The result of this diligent effort is that our top management, along with every department, from forecasting to engineering, and our technical officers, demonstrate unwavering commitments to effective application of this management system. By receiving the ISO 9001, GMET underscore its dedication to 1, confidence and trust. Stakeholders ranging from airlines to farmers, disaster management agencies to international partners can trust that our data, forecasts, and calibration meet globally recognized benchmarks.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Director in charge of forecasting the Ghana Meteorological Agency, Joseph Tete Portofi, said the agency is poised to provide accurate and timely forecasts for Ghanaians.
It's a very great certification because it gives us confidence that whatever we are doing it to international standards. And once we've got the certificate, then every forecast that we are issuing and everything that we are doing in marine, in aeronautical, in public weather service, in our climate service, in our seasonal forecast for the agricultural farmers, it means we are doing it to international standard. And this certificate, before you can get it, it means you must apply to a certification group which internationally is recognized. And you will come back and look at your work, look at the processes you go through to do your forecast, look at your personnel, their certification, and look at the equipment, whether equipment are calibrated, everything, dito.
As the Deputy Director in charge of forecast there. And join us on our Ghana Month series journey as we delve into the traditions that enrich our nation's diverse communities. Today, we venture into Dadiaso in the Soman district of the Western North region, where an intriguing cultural taboo has long fascinated observers: the prohibition of goats and dogs in the community. Our colleague Irama Smith is in Dadiaso uncovering the centuries-old stories behind this tradition and the taboo. We apologize for that hitch in the sound. We'll bring that to you in our subsequent bulletins here on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. On behalf of the rest of the team, we do thank you so much for staying with us here on Hot Edition this morning. It's on 3news.com. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. My name is Alfred Ocansey. Have a good evening.